Welcome to the Built for the Trades podcast. This is your host, Dan Dowdy, and today we're talking all about unique ability and how unique ability relates to not only knowing yourself to grow yourself, but also knowing yourself to grow your team. This is a recap episode of the podcast I did with Justin and Kristen Deese. If you have not listened to it, I encourage you to stop this or pause this podcast and go to the previous one and listen to it. Justin and Kristen are the owner of Paradise Home Services, and they have been in the trades and growing businesses for a long time. And, as I was listening back to the interview, one thing that Justin said was, we started to grow when I realized not only what my unique ability was, and that I needed to surround myself with people smarter than myself. So we're going to dive into that today. And I'm going to share, Dan Sullivan he's a strategic coach. He has a great 6-step process to going through and discovering what your unique ability is. But before I dive into that, I just want to remind people out there, if you like what you hear, please subscribe and share this with a friend and leave us a review, because every review helps guide our conversations and guide our podcasts moving forward. And here at Built for the Trades, we're all about helping you grow your business and helping you grow helping you grow your life through leadership development. So we're talking to business owners and managers and everyday people in the trades, and even people that want to get into the trades. We're here to inspire you to grow, because we know that leadership is a lifetime journey. There's no destination to being a master leader. We have to wake up every day to get better. We're going to have good days, we're going to have bad days, but as long as we're learning and we're growing and we're getting better, that's all you can really ask for as you move through life and move through your growth journey. So before we dive into these 6 steps, I would encourage you to get a sheet of paper out and take some notes. And I want to tell you a quick story about my leadership. I've been leading in the trades for well over 20 years, and I have grown my own home service business. And early on in my leadership, I wish I would have had this information. I wish I would have known the importance of knowing my unique ability and surrounding myself with people better than myself. I remember specifically early on in my leadership, sitting in a room and looking at all my technicians and realizing that I have a bunch of Dans in this room, right? You naturally attract who you are. And then at the next level, as my business grew and I had my leadership team in there, I realized I am surrounding myself with a bunch of people who think just like me, who are just like me in their strengths and their weaknesses. And I realized at that point that in order to grow to the next level, I needed to start to find people who filled the gaps. And when you think about knowing your unique ability and finding people that are better than yourselves, that's really what people are talking about. Figuring out what you're strong at and what you're weak at, and finding people who can fill those weaknesses, and finding people who are willing to share information and willing to tell you no, and willing to have a diverse set of opinions in the room will help push you to the next level in your business. So before I dive into these 6 steps, I want to remind you, at builtforthetrades.com, we have free resources. In there is a leadership assessment. And what it is an Enneagram assessment that you can take, and you can learn about your personality, and that will help you start to discover your unique ability. So if you haven't gone in there and haven't taken advantage of that free resource, builtforthetrades.com, click on the free resources tab and dive in and learn about yourself. All right. So if you have your pen and paper out, I encourage you to take some notes. But in this worksheet, the first thing Dan Sullivan talks about was, number 1, you'd love to do this everywhere, not just in business. Think about that. Your unique ability is a combination of things you're really good at and also have a superior passion for. But don't restrict yourself to thinking of it just in terms of work. Stretch yourself beyond that and think of ways you create value at home, at school, and with family and friends. Unique ability isn't only how you make money, it could also be what your family relies on you for. So number 1, just bullet point down some thoughts that come to mind. You love to do this everywhere, not just in business. All right. So number 2, it shines in many different situations and opportunities. Look for and pay attention to the activities and habits that come naturally to you and that stand out in many different situations. Your unique ability is the essence you bring to all scenarios in which you thrive and likely comes so easily to you that others will recognize it before you recognize it in yourself. Think about that. Jot down a few things that come to mind. It shines in many different situations and opportunities. All right. So number 3, your unique ability is factory installed. You've been doing it since childhood. To some degree, you've been doing things this way since you were a kid. Look to your parents, your siblings, your teachers, or anyone who knew you when you were younger for insight. Think back to a much younger you and how you contributed or were appreciated even then. I love number 3. Your unique ability is factory installed. You've been doing it since childhood. You could sit down with this worksheet and you could start to ask the people around you, right? People who knew you at a younger age, what do you see that are my strengths? And you can get some of that information to help you build out this worksheet. Number 4, it comes to you so naturally, you might not think it's anything special. We have a tendency to take our unique ability for granted because you've always done things this way. It might not feel flashy or exciting. It might not even seem, or it might seem a little mundane because we're so used to being ourselves and doing things in this way. But when you acknowledge how you most naturally strive, you will get closer to the heart of what drives you. So number 4, it comes to you so naturally, you might not think it's anything special. Diving into number 5, other people count on you for these special talents. What comes to mind for you? What things do other people always count on you for? Look to those as clues to identify your unique ability. The ways that you positively impact people are the things they'll consistently come to you for. It's also how you show up as a hero in the world. So number 5 was other people count on you for these special talents. Think about that. Number 6, you can get better and better at this for your whole life and still find it fascinating. Ooh, I love that one. Understand and honing your unique ability is a process that will continue throughout your entire life. The more you use it, the more you'll sharpen it, and the more you'll understand its impact. So use it and watch it evolve to help you become the very best version of yourself and see how new opportunities to add, and see new opportunities to add your own special kind of value. So number 6 is you can get better and better at this for your whole life, and you still find it fascinating. All right, so I've shared all 6 steps to finding your unique ability. I want to talk a little bit about leadership versus management. At a very, very high level, people are more naturally gifted at leading, and people are more naturally gifted at managing. Let me explain a little more. When you're starting to discover your unique ability, you can add this in and think about this at who you are. Leadership is influence, right? And management is accountability. So if you're stronger at leading people, you're probably stronger at relating to people. You're stronger at slowing down and building relationships with people. You're probably stronger at bringing people along the journey and not getting frustrated and doing things for people. So you're more naturally leading by example through the way that you relate and you influence and you build those relationships. And then on the flip side, if you're stronger at managing people, then you're good at getting results in an urgent manner. You're good at telling people how it is, even in the tough conversations, right? You're good at sitting down and holding people accountable to get the results that you are wanting to achieve. And so typically, if somebody's better at leadership, they're probably weaker at management. And if somebody's better at management, they're probably weaker at leadership. Knowing that about yourself will help you to start to not only hone in and grow the skill that you're good at, but also lean into the skill that you may not be as strong in and start to become a better leader or start to become a better manager. Because we know in life, as you move through and you grow, You can't just always have people who like you, right? You can't just be the person who's always, um, wanting to have people like you. At a certain point, in order for people to grow, you're going to have to sit down with them and have those tough conversations and coach people through getting better. Coach them through getting better. So that's all I have for you today. In closing, I wanted to share a John Maxwell podcast. John Maxwell is one of my mentors, and we use a lot of his information as we train up leaders here at Built for the Trades. He says, leaders become great not because of their power, right? But their ability to empower others. Think about that. Not because of their power or not because of their unique ability, right? But because of their ability to surround themselves with other people who share a different unique ability, and then be able to share the vision and share what's expected and what it looks like to win with that person, and encourage them, empower them to accomplish their goals, to achieve in their life, to achieve in their position. That takes time, right? That takes knowing your people. That takes surrounding yourself with people who are better than you, who are stronger than you in certain areas of your business. So if you like what you hear, I encourage you to subscribe to this podcast, share it with a friend, or leave us a review. We use these reviews to guide our future episodes to make sure that we're giving you content that will help you to grow in your leadership and to grow in your life. Hope you have an amazing day, and I'll talk to you next time.